October 1st, 1768, 1,200 soldiers of the King's Army marched right by where we're standing to occupy the town of Boston. They would be here for 17 long months, occupying the town, impossible to miss in their bright red coats, in a direct violation of the British Bill of Rights. It would be relatively peaceful over that 17 months with just sort of minor street fights and arguments between locals and soldiers, but things would truly escalate to violence on March 5th, 1770. Now, the night before, a foot of snow had dropped onto town. All day and all night had been walked over. It's a thin layer of ice on March 5th. Standing guard outside of the Custom House across the street from where we stand was Private Hugh White of the Army. As he's standing guard, he notices two young apprentices walking by, shouting insults at one of the officers of the Army. Private White goes over to them and demands they show respect to an officer. They show the same amount of respect to him. They start insulting him. He takes the butt of his musket and just hits one of the kids right in the forehead. He was assuming, I think, that would shut the kid up. Instead, he screamed. He fell to the ground. He started to wail and cry, and this drew in the attention of the other people walking around that night, mostly young apprentices. They soon crowd Private White in front of the Custom House. He soon has a crowd of probably 10 to 20 in front of him, shouting insults at him. As the crowd grows, when they see attention coming into here, they start picking up snowballs and ice balls and rocks and oyster shells, trying to hit Private White from afar. This draws the attention of the other soldiers. Captain Thomas Preston of the guardhouse across the square will gather 7 privates. They'll push through the crowd, their bayonets out, and that draws in more attention. The crowd is going to grow to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60. Preston organizes the men into a semicircle in front of the Custom House. He tells the men to load their muskets, but not to fire, because if they fire, that's a criminal action. The crowd knows this because they're yelling at the soldiers, "Fire, you cowards! You damn you lobsters, you bloody backs, why won't you fire?" At this point, the bells and sounds start to ring. People think something is on fire. They're stepping outside with buckets of water in hand, but they don't find flames. They find this crowd of maybe 100, mostly men on the lowest ranks of society. Laborers, sailors, apprentices, enslaved and free men of color gathered into this crowd. In this crowd, of those apprentices are Samuel Maverick and Christopher Monk. In this crowd of those laborers are Patrick Carr and Samuel Gray. And of those sailors, James Caldwell and Crispus Attucks. As one of the soldiers, Private Edward Montgomery, is knocked back, his gun goes off over the crowd. Seconds go by. Preston is trying to block his men. He's standing between them, but they don't hear the order. They don't know what to do. One by one, led by Matthew Kilroy, fire, 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 fire. Attucks, Caldwell, and Gray were all killed instantly. Maverick was shot in the back. He died the next morning in his own bed with his mother at his side. Patrick Carr, shot to the abdomen, hip to hip, lingered for a week, and then he died. Christopher Monk, shot in the back. He lived, but he never walked again, and he wouldn't live to see 30, and his family would blame his early death on the shooting. 5 or 6 other people wounded, bullet wounds in the arms and the legs and the backs as the crowd scatters and then comes right back, banging on the doors of the State House and the guardhouse, demanding justice. From the balcony of the old State House will step out Lieutenant Governor Thomas Hutchinson, begging the crowd to go home, telling them that he will live and die by the law. The law says these men will face trial for murder, but later it can only happen when the crowd goes home. They disperse. In the coming days, the Army and Navy are fully removed from Boston. And soon, as this information of this event hits the newsstands across the empire, it will come to be known as the Bloody Boston Massacre.